In this video, you will learn how to make the Jet Trooper jetpack system in Unity. In the end of the video, we will be able to make this. Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with how it looks and how it feels. It feels pretty smooth. I don't know how it looks like, but it feels really smooth. And yeah, let's see how to make this. So here we have a simple scene setup, nothing going on in here. We have simple post processing going on, a directional light, a simple map which is made up of cubes only, and then we have the main camera on which there is little post processing going on. Okay, so now the first thing that will pop into your mind is, where the fuck did you get the 3D model of the Jet Trooper? Well, if you are asking me that question, then it means you haven't seen the video in which I show you guys how to download 3D models of 3D models from almost any game, which is this video. If I just quickly show you guys this one. So if you want to see this, make sure you see the video. The link will be in the description box below, or you can click the card on the top right over here. See this video and you should be able to know how to download the 3D models of the Jet Trooper or almost any game, right? But there was a little problem for me to rig this motherfucker, so it took me a whole lot of time to rig this, because he was already rigged, but that rig was really horrible. And when I put this in Mixmo to again rig this, the Mixmo was like, what the fuck, what it is, I don't know what this is. I'm not gonna rig this again, so I had to rig this manually and all that. So if you want to download this fully rigged, this character over here, the Jet Trooper, I'm gonna leave a link in the description box below, so that you can download it for free, fully rigged and all that, with textures and all that. So once I did that, I went to Mixmo, which is this site over here, and currently I'm working on the God of War axe throw system, so I'm trying to release that tutorial. First I'm thinking, yeah, I haven't made it, but I was just leave it. So I went in Mixmo and uploaded my character and just searched in for simple animations like idle, walk and run, and simply downloaded them. So I'm gonna delete that. Okay, so once I downloaded these 3 animations, idle, walk and run, I imported them into Unity, just dragging in there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and select the Stormtrooper, the idle animation pose, which I will provide you guys. The link will be in the description box below, and I'm gonna quickly go ahead and put it inside of the scene. I'm gonna reset the transform so that it's 0, 0, 0. So here is the character. Now of course I will have to add the materials, so I'm gonna real quick do that. Now where the fuck is he? Which folder? This one, yeah. Assets, materials, textures, torso. Where the heck are the materials? I'm gonna go ahead and say helmet. There we have the helmet. Okay, here are the materials. So this is the helmet, these are the legs, and this is the torso. Bam, everything properly working. So this is the Jet Trooper guy. Okay, so once you have done that, this guy is fully rigged, so I'm gonna rename this to layer, unpack the prefab, and bam, we are good to go. I'm gonna bring this down over here. Next thing what we need to do is we need to go ahead and set up some animation. So if I select the player, there's an animator controller over here, right? I'm gonna go to my animations, create a new animator controller. I already have it, but for you guys I'm gonna make it again, because I'm gonna make the whole jetpack system again. This time I'm gonna call this animator tutorial and open this up. I'm gonna go ahead and drag in the idle position, idle pose. This one, no, this one looks horrible, so I'm gonna just simply drag in this one. See which, no, not the roll, this one. Yeah, idle animation, this one, simple as that. I'm gonna select this, rename this to idle. Now I already have made a whole lot of tutorial videos on how to make a third-person character controller. If you haven't seen them, make sure you see them. So I'm not gonna explain briefly what I'm doing in here. I'm gonna do everything quickly. So I have the idle animation and there's the run animation. I'm not gonna do the walk animation. Okay, so here's a fast running animation. I'm gonna make a transition from idle to run and run to idle, simple as that. And we have to transition between these 2 animations on a certain state, on a certain condition. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a float. I'm gonna call this magnitude, and whenever the value of, what the heck, okay, yeah, never mind. So I have to set the has exit time false, because otherwise the whole animation of the idle will be played and then we will transition to run. We don't want that, so just say has exit time false. So we're gonna transition from idle to run when the magnitude is greater than 0.1. The value of the magnitude is greater than 0.1, and when it is false and it's less than 0.1, we're gonna come back to 0.1. We're gonna come back to the idle. Simple as that. Has exit time false. I'm gonna play the game to show you guys what is happening in here. Go to the magnitude, and right now it will be 0, so he will be doing the idle animation. If I select the player, there you can the player has to have the animator controller, so just drag and drop the animator controller in there, hit play. Real quick show you guys what is happening in here. I'm gonna select the player. As you can see, he will be doing the idle animation. What the fuck? Yeah, there we go. He's doing the idle animation. If I set the magnitude value to 1, he will start running. And if I set back to 0 and I come to the scene, there we go, he's back to the idle animation. Now in your case, he may not move like this. He may not move. He may come over here and then snap back to the same position, or somewhat like that. How do we fix that? Well, make sure everything is set to humanoid. In my case, I just dragged in this guy over here, right? So I have to go to rig and set this to humanoid. Make sure you do that and go back to the animations and check mark everything that is green. In my case, everything is green over here, so I have just check marked over there. This one is green, so you have to check mark it. In the running case, this is not green, so I have not checked this one. Also, the rig should be humanoid. Make sure you do that, otherwise you won't be able to, it won't work, right? So everything that is green should be check marked, not the loop position, because otherwise it will look something like this. Just not the loop position, everything will be okay. Okay, good. Once you have done that, you should be able to do that. Okay, now go to the player. One thing you need to know is that we don't use coding to make games. The thing that you just saw in the beginning of the video, I made this without writing a single fucking line of code. So we use playmaker instead of coding. Playmaker is a really cool asset that helps you make games without writing a single line of code. If you wanna get playmaker, you can buy it from asset store, or if you say I don't want to buy it or anything, then you can simply download it for free. The link will be in the description box below. You can download it for free, check it out, and if you like it, you can again then buy it, right? So the link will be in the description box below. You will have, let me just quickly show you guys, you will have something like this, and then you have to just simply drag it inside of Unity, bam, and it will automatically do that, and it will import the playmaker. And you have to say import. I already have done that, so it's not gonna ask me. Then it will show you something like this, right? Then you have to go to install playmaker and install playmaker from here, and it will gonna again ask you to import, somewhat like this. It will say, have you made the backup? You have to say yeah, everything like that, and it's gonna decompose, and it's gonna again ask you for the import. It will do that, of course, and it's gonna ask you for the import. I already have imported it, so I'm not gonna import it again because everything is unchecked, as you can see. So you have to say import, and everything will be good to go. Playmaker will be installed, and you should be able to see this window over here, and everything will be good. Once you have imported the playmaker, you have to go to the add component and say FSM, and this is what it will look, playmaker FSM. This is basically the FSM playmaker. You have to go edit, and this is the playmaker. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say get axis vector. Oh, not that. Get axis vector. There we go. Delete that motherfucker. Okay, get axis vector. Vector basically is the direction, so it is set to horizontal or vertical, which means WASD. It's automatically set, so you don't have to worry about anything. You just basically have to store the direction in which we are pressing the keys, WASD. So I'm gonna just store this in input vector, simple as that. And we also have to store the magnitude into input magnitude. You can just rename to anything you want. These are basically variables. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and say set animator float, and we're going to set the float animator float, this guy mag, which will be shown over here, so mag equal to the value of the magnitude that we just stored over here. All right, good. And we have to say every frame. Now what will happen is basically we should be able to move our character whenever we press the WASD. Let me quickly show you guys what is happening. and now if he's doing the idle animation, if I press W, he's gonna run, and when I release W, he's gonna stop. Bam. Good. Okay, now of course if I press A, D or S, he's gonna move in the same forward direction. We don't want that, so we're gonna go ahead and say smooth look at direction, and we're gonna assign the direction that we just stored over here, the input vector. So we're gonna say target direction is the input vector. We're gonna set the speed. I think it's okay. You don't have to worry about anything. And now when we press WASD, he should move in different directions. Quickly go ahead and do that. As you can see, he is moving in the every direction he wants. Now as you can see, if I go through, it will not collide with the cube. Right, so how do we fix that? And also we have to set the camera also. We're gonna quickly go ahead and do that. I'm gonna come out. So in order for the collisions to work, we're gonna go ahead and add a character controller. Bam, just like that. It is kind of like rigid body, but we don't use rigid body with the playmaker because it's not a good friend with the playmaker. But we have to use it. We have to use it rigid body later on in this video. But I'm gonna show you guys how to use rigid body with playmaker. So once we have the character controller intact, now we should have the animations, and he should be able to collide with and interact with the objects. So if I come over here, as you can see, he does not goes through this thing. Good. Now the collisions are in the place. Now we have to add the camera system. So how do we do that? I'm going to delete the playmaker GUI, bring down the camera, select the main the player, and create an empty game object. I will call this camera follow. This, oh shit, my caps lock is on. Camera follow, and this will be the point where the camera will basically follow the player, which is right in here, maybe chest. And I'm gonna duplicate this, and this time I'm gonna call this one camera base, and I'm gonna drag out the camera base just like that, and I'm gonna select the camera and drag it inside of the camera base just like that. Now if I select the camera base and rotate the camera base, you can see basically it pivots, the camera pivots around the player over here. Cool. You can also set up the camera. I'm gonna go in here and maybe move it a little bit over here or a little bit over here, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Now when we can pivot around the player just like that. Good. Now we're gonna go ahead and select the camera base, add component FSM again, and this time I'm gonna say move towards, which basically means follow, and we're gonna move it towards the camera follow with the speed of 20. 10 is okay, but I'll set it to 20, and make sure the finish distance is 0. Now as you can see, if I play the game, the camera should follow the player. As you can see, he's following it, but we are not able to look around with the mouse, so we should be able to do that. That is also pretty simple. I'm gonna come in here, say edit, say mouse look, and set the intensity to 3 because I think 3 is much better. By the way, you have to say -3 for the Y because all the Y is always inverted, and every frame everything is good. And make sure you go to the player, say edit, and drag and drop the camera inside of the relative to in the get axis vector. Good. Make sure you do that, otherwise it won't properly work. You may get some errors. Now we should be able to move around, look around, and basically this is the third-person character controller. Nice. Very nice. As you can see, I have already the camera collision system going on in here. And how did I get that? Let me just quickly show you guys. Basically it is a simple script. I already have made a tutorial video on that too, which is this one, how to make camera collisions in Unity. Basically it is a simple script. This one, camera collision 1. If you want to download this script, make sure you click basically you have to see this video. It's really simple, short video of 8 minutes. You have to just see that, and you should be able to get going with the camera collision system. So our third-person character is in there. Now what we have to do is we have to add a jetpack system. Now for the jetpack system, we of course need some physics. We have to add force in the player to make it move up, and then we have to use gravity to bring him down, right? Now in order for the physics to work, we of course need rigid body. But if I go ahead and say add rigid body to our player just like that, and if I play the game right now, you will see what happens. There we go. So as you can see, our player or the camera or something goes wrong, and if he will move, but the camera is gone, fucked up, and I don't know what, but but just the rigid body is not good friends with the character controller and the playmaker FSM. So yeah, that simple thing. But if I go ahead and say character controller to false, if I disable the character controller and play the game again, let's see what happens. There we go. As you can see, he is falling. The rigid body is working. Alright, so rigid body works with the capsule collider, so I have to add a collider. I will add a capsule collider. Real quick, do that and move the capsule collider a little up. Let's see what happens if I add the capsule collider. Now what will happen, right? Let's see. I have added the rigid body and the character controller is disabled. Now he no longer falls through the floor, but if I try to move, it's not moving properly, right? Like what the fuck is happening? If I increase the or move the capsule collider up and down, nothing basically works. As you can see, the camera jitters and everything is like, nah, it does not work like that. So basically we want to enable the rigid body when we are using the jetpack only and only. So but there is no button for the rigid body to enable and disable like that. How do we enable or disable the rigid body? Well, basically it is over here, is kinematic. When it is true, basically it is enabled, disabled. The rigid body is disabled when it is kinematic, and if I set it to false, the rigid body is enabled. So if I go ahead and set this to is kinematic and play the game now, everything should properly work. Let's quickly see. There we go, it's not jittering anything and it's running smoothly and everything is properly working. Good. Now let's go back to the FSM, and I'm gonna go ahead and go to the jetpack system whenever we press the spacebar. So we have to first get button down, right? Get button down. Basically it means when we press a button or hold a button, it will be jump. Basically, if I go to, let me go to edit, project settings, input, to quickly show you guys. Input. So horizontal basically is AD, vertical is basically SW, basically WASD, and the jump is basically the spacebar. So that's why I'm using jump over here, basically the spacebar. So whenever we hold the spacebar, we're gonna go to the new event called jet. Simple as that. I'm gonna go ahead and add transition, jet, make a new state, bam, jet is over there. And if I go ahead and play the game right now, and whenever I press the spacebar button, we should be able to transition from this state to this state. Right now we should be in this state 1. If I press the W button, if I press the space button, bam, we are in the state 2. Good. In the state 2, we basically want to move the character up. Yeah, we want to add a force. So if I go ahead and say add force, bam, it is basically, as you can see, it's symbol resembles with the rigid body. Basically it means you have to have rigid body in order to add force, basically. So I'm gonna go ahead and move the add the force in Y. Basically it is up and down. If I select the player and move the character in the Y, it will move up and down. We want to move the player upwards with the force of I don't know, maybe 40. Let's see what happens. And then we also want to move the player in the Z direction. If I come over here, if I move it in the Z, as you can see, he's moving forward and backward. So we want to move him up as well as forward. So forward, I guess 40 should be good, I guess, I don't know. And yeah, but as you can see, it is set to is kinematic, the rigid body. So if it is set to is kinematic, basically it is disabled and this won't work. So how do we fix that? Well, we have to come in the first state, and in here we're gonna go ahead and set the character controller set the property enabled to true. There we go. And we have to set the property of rigid body is kinematic to true. Basically it means the rigid body is set to disabled. And we also have to set the property of the capsule glider to enabled to false. There we go. And we're gonna copy these three, copy the selected actions, paste them in here, and drag the force down there, and we have to just simply invert them. So we have to disable the character controller, is kinematic is false, and character control the capsule glider is also true. Good. Now when we do that, it should basically work. I'm gonna place that over here. Why the heck is the okay, if I play the game right now, let's see. Come on, there we go. Okay, now if I move and press, if I should see it from here, I guess. Okay, here is the player, right? Let's see space. Yeah, good. Shit. Okay, so first thing what I just saw is that the player is starting to rotate, which we don't want. So I'm gonna go in the constraints and I'm gonna freeze the rotation just like that. And also make sure it is set to is frame every frame. Yeah, make sure you do that. Now if we play the game, the rotations are frozen and it is set to every frame 40 by 40. Let's see if it is working or not. Let's see. And 1, 2, 3 space. Bam, he's going up, and yeah, he's gone, because yeah, he's gone to infinity. Okay, so it's basically is working. Now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and say get button up, which means when we release a certain button, in this case we want to jump, of course, jump, which is basically spacebar. And I'm gonna go to new event and I'm gonna say jet exit. You can call this anything you want. Just click this, make a new state, simple as that. I'm gonna bring this down over here, the jetpack system. This one will be the idle plus run. This one is the jetpack, and this one will be basically the one that will be down, when the player will be going down, and then when he hits the ground we're gonna come back to the idle, just like that. Okay, so when we release the jump button, we're gonna come in here, and this time we're gonna go ahead and say add force. We're gonna add the force downwards a little bit, not too much because gravity is doing his work, but I'm gonna say -10 so that the character comes down a little faster. And we also want to move him forward, so I'm gonna let the Z 40 like that. Good. Now if I play the game, maximize the screen by shift space, play the game, and let's see what happens. If I come over here, bam, I just hit the space and he just came back, and now he is in loop. Okay, of course the animations are not set, we have to set the animations again. This time I'm gonna hold the space bar for a longer time, see what happens. And bam, he's moving up, and now he's coming down, and there we go. Yeah, of course he's in loop and he's running like a crazy guy, but actually it is working. Now what we need to do is we need to detect whether or not the player is hitting the ground. So in this case we are gonna shoot the laser. So raycast, basically it is a laser. So we're gonna shoot the laser in the downwards direction, -1, just like that. The distance will be 0.1, and when we hit the laser we're gonna go ahead and say grounded. Basically it means we have just touched the ground. We're gonna go to the ground and bam, we're gonna come in here. Simple as that. I'm gonna go ahead and say debug so that we can see the laser. I'm gonna set the color to red so that we can easily see the laser. Good. I'm gonna go ahead and play the game now and see if yeah, I'm gonna edit the I'm gonna hit the playmaker edit so that we can see what is happening over here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit space. Bam, we're going up, we're gonna go down. Grounded, it's not detecting, because if I come over here, okay, where's the laser? We can't see the laser. Where the fuck is the laser? Where is the laser? If I set the distance to 1, I can't see the, oh, there it is. Okay, so as you can see, the laser is little too down and we can't see the laser at all, because the laser isn't hitting anything at all, because it's passing right through everything and it's not hitting anything. So what we need to do is we need to come out and go to the player, hit F, and create another empty game object, and this one will be the raycaster. Basically it will be the point from which the laser will be casted, and I'm gonna set it to a little higher above the ground, just like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and say from game object, specify the game object and drag in the raycaster over here. Simple as that. Now everything should properly work, I guess. I have no idea. Let's see. Yeah, good, cool. Selected the player and we are in the idle and run. If I press space, bam, we go up, we are coming down, and shit, I think the yeah, I'm gonna set this to 1. There we go. Yeah, the distance was really small. Okay, come over here, jump, we are coming down, hit the ground, bam, we are back. Hit up, come down, hit the ground, he's now back. Good, that looks good. So the only problem was that the distance was really small, so I just set it to, let's just set it to 1. Simple as that. Heck yeah. Okay, now we are in a good loop, everything is properly working. Now we need multiple things to do. Okay, first thing, the animation is not properly set, so we have to set the animation. So let's just simply go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go to the animations, go to the tutorial. Here we have the 2 animations. Now we had the jetpack system animations. If I go to the animations over here and quickly show you guys what I mean, this is what we need to do. This is the actual Star Wars Battlefront 2. The character is doing the idle animation. Now when he goes to the jetpack, he basically jumps up and goes into this jetpack animation. Now basically we get the animations in mix mode. So if I go ahead and say jetpack or jet or anything like that, basically there's no fucking animation for that. As you can see, no animation for the jetpack. If I go ahead and say fly, there's one animation that looks stupid as hell, which is this one, flying. Yeah, this one, which looks something like this. So basically we can't use any animation from mix mode. So what I had to do is I had to make the whole animations by myself, because we can't use we can't use this animation. So I made the animations by myself. Now one thing that you need to know is that I'm not a professional animator or any kind of animator, because I haven't done any animation by myself at all. And I had to do animation, and this is what I made. I'm gonna go ahead and make this bigger. This is the animation that I made. So the first jump up, this one, he jumps up, so it looks something like this. Bam, he jumps up and goes into the position just like that. So this is start, and for the jetpack he is basically doing the idle animation like this. So not so cool, but not that bad also, right? Like, it will do the stuff, right? It will do the work. So by the way, if you want to download these animations, you can they will be provided in here. In the link, it will be in the description box below, so you can download this character, also the textures, also these animations, the ones that you cannot find from mixed mode, of course, not the idle walk and run animations. So this is the animation. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag it in here. So one is the start and one is the jet. I know the names are not properly set, but yeah, this is the start. Basically it looks like this, jump up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and make a transition from idle to start, run to start, and I'm gonna go ahead and go to the parameters, make a boolean. Boolean basically is true or false. I'm gonna set this to, name will be jet. Whenever the jet is true, we're gonna go to the jetpack system. So as exit time false, come in here, jet is true, we're gonna come in this state. As exit time false, jet is true, come in here. And then we're gonna make a transition from start to jet, and in this time we don't have to add any conditions because it's gonna just complete this animation, and then you can transition to this animation, which should look something like this. So he's gonna jump up and he is in the air like that. Good. Now what we need to do is we need to check this mark true or false, make this guy true or false on the basis of when we are using the jetpack. That should not be that difficult. When we come in this state in the jetpack system, we're gonna go ahead and say set animator bool, and I'm gonna set the bool that will be set the boolean, no boolean. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and say type in jet, simple as that, and set the value to true, just like that. Copy this guy, come over here and set this to false in the idle state because we don't want it to be true when we are walking and running. And also we're gonna copy this guy and come over here and paste it in here and set this to false over here because we are not using the jetpack over here, right? So we have to do some different animation over here. But for now, let's see what's happening. Make sure this is not set to loop time, not like that, not to loop time, and come over here and make sure this is set to loop time, right? Good. Now if you play the game, let's see what happens. I can't tell. I don't know. Let's see. Come over here, hit space, bam. Yeah, he's doing the animation properly. But as you can see, there's one problem. If we go up, as you can see, the camera is gone. Like he cannot control it, and the player jitters like that, and he jitters, and yeah, we have to fix that, right? Basically it is the camera speed. The camera speed is not as fast as the player is moving, so we have to go to the camera base. We have to say edit and set the camera speed to something like 100. Come over here and let's see if it is properly working or not. Otherwise we will have to do some other fix, basically. Yeah, so he's running and the camera is now properly following it. Good. As you can see, he is not fucking moving forward. Why is that? He is not moving forward, at least with the good speed at all. Okay, he's moving backwards. Okay, so in order to fix that, we have to go to the player, say edit, and in here we have to go ahead and set this to self, I guess. If I go ahead and set this to self, increase the value to 600, maybe, I don't know. Let's see. And if I come in here, play the game again. Yeah, basically it is hit and trial because there are some errors that you have to see what is going on here, right? Now it's working. There we go. He's not moving backwards at all. He's moving forward, as you can see. Good. So we have to do the same thing over here also. We have to come out in here. We have to say 600, sorry. 600, set this to self. Good. Properly working. Best. Okay, now if I go in the reference video again, now when he stops using the jetpack, he is going in this animation, which is this kind of like, he comes in, his legs come in, because otherwise his legs are really far apart. His legs are back. But when he stops using jetpack and he's going down, he is in this animation, as you can see. So I had to make this animation also, and as always it also sucks, but it does the job, which looks something like this. So this is the start. So he's coming and he comes in this position, and then the idle is just this same position, just like this one. Good. Now I'm gonna go to the animator, select the player, and drag in the, I don't know why it called it resist, but there are 3 animations in here. We only need which ones? We don't need the, yeah, we don't need this one. We need our idle and our start. Our start basically is this one. So whenever so we're gonna come in here just like that, and whenever the jet is false, which means we have stopped using jetpack, we're gonna come in this, and then I'm gonna transition to the idle, just like that. Has exit time is true. In this case, has exit time is false. In this case, it's true. Basically it means when we stop using the jetpack, it's gonna complete this animation, and then we're gonna transition to this animation. Simple as that. Make sure this is not set to loop. Make sure this is set to loop. Good. Okay, now if we play the game, good. If you play the game, everything should properly work, at least a little bit. Please, please. Okay, now if we can hold space, we go up with the animation, and if I release, he's gonna come in this animation. Good. Not good. Oh yeah, good. Okay, he's not coming back to the same animation because we have not made any transition for that. So we have to come in here, and when this is in idle, we have to come back to the start animation when the jet is true. As you see, the time is false. Come in here, jet is true. We're gonna come back in here, or we can simply come back in this. I don't know. Yeah. Come in here. Let's see what happens. That's frustrating. Okay. Come in here. Bam. This animation. Bam. That animation. Good. Now as you can see, if I come over here and if I look at that, I want to move in that direction, but he's not moving in that direction. I want to move in that direction, he's not moving in that direction. What the fuck? Now in order to fix that, we can go ahead and go to player, edit, and this time we're gonna go ahead and simply come in here and copy the smooth look at direction, copy this, or you can just copy these two, get axis vector and smooth look at direction, copy these two. Come in here, just simply paste them, basically. Come in here, paste them, basically. Now we should be able to look around when we fly, and we should be able to fly in the same direction. Jetpack, shoot, bam. I'm really tired right now, but okay. So as you can see, we can look around and we can go in the same direction which we want. If I want to go in this direction, we can go in this direction. Good, everything is properly working. Now he is not doing the what the fuck. Yeah. Now if I come back in here and go to the player FSM, he is basically in the idle animation, idle state, but he is not able to come out of this animation because there is no fucking transition for the idle animation. Now in order to fix that, we have to make some kind of a landing animation. Thankfully there was a animation in mix mode that looks something like this. So he falls and then he moves a little bit, and yeah, it's pretty good. Make sure this is also humanoid. This is not to set to true. Loop time is not set to true. Just simply go ahead and drag this guy in here, rename this to land. You can find this in mix mode. If I just quickly come in here and just say land, yeah, God of War is flying. He has no beard. Yeah, he clean shaved. As you can see, there are a whole lot of animations for the landing. Good, you can find these a whole lot of it, so I'm not gonna provide this animation. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and make a transition from idle to come over here and reposition these guys, and I'm gonna go ahead and make another boolean. This one will be called land. So whenever the land is true, we're gonna come in here, has exit time is false, which should look something like this. So he's flying and bam, he comes down and he moves a little bit. Good. And then when this animation is completed, we're gonna go to the idle. Simple as that. So he's moving a little bit and bam. Good. As exit time is true because the animation has to complete and then go to the idle animation. Good. Now we have to control this land boolean. So we're gonna go to the player again, and this time we're gonna go ahead and say set animator bool, copy this guy, come in here and say land is true, and then copy this guy, land, copy this guy, come in here and set this to false, set this to false. Simple as that. Now if you play the game, my command is hurting very bad because I'm sitting in a wrong posture, but still I'm making the video. Running, jumping, rocketing, coming back, and bam. Oh shit, it looks good. Basically it's perfect. It's perfect. I come over here and try to land over here. Bam, I can land on a wall kind of a thing. Comes down, bam, looks good. And basically this is how you make a jetpack system in Unity. Oh shit, that wasn't that difficult. I don't know why it took me a whole lot of time to make it. Basically it took me 3 days, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I had to make the particle system and all that, but basically it looks something like this. Shit, it looks good. Coming down and bam, landing. Good. Good. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah. Okay, one thing that I just noticed, I cannot if I hold space I go up, but if I release space I go down, but if I again I cannot move up again, so I have to fix that again. One little mistake, but that should not be that difficult. Go to the player, come in here and say get button down. Basically the same one, so I'm gonna just simply copy this one, get button down, spacebar, jump, and this time we're gonna go to jet, so add new transition, jet, come back in here. Simple as that. That should take care of that. Make sure yeah, everything is properly working. Okay, so let's see. This is how you make the jetpack system. I don't know how long the video is, I don't know right now, but go up, come down, again go up. Yeah, dude, go up again. Shit, yeah, I want to land over here. I want to land over here. Yeah, there we go. This is basically how you make the jetpack stormtrooper movement. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you didn't subscribe to my channel if you did, then subscribe to my channel, which is how to do. And if you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any video. I'm trying to make a mission video in which you have to complete some objectives to complete one mission. I'm trying to make that video, and I'm also working on the God of War throwing axe system. This is God of War, believe me or not. Hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you did, then subscribe to my channel, which is how to do, and I will see you in my next video. Till then, peace out.